All right, hello folks. Welcome to another SEO Hangouts with Josh Bashinsky. That would be me. I have my winter beard in full effect, so I hope you appreciate the ginger beard, as Lord of SEO has called it. And okay, so today I have a lot of stuff to share with you that Google has been leaking, and mostly it's Google leaks that I have to share. I also have some experimental data to back up some of the stuff I'm going to say here as well. A lot of activity has been going on. Google has been mentioning a lot of different things that you need to be watching out for, and it's not the normal stuff. It's new stuff. So, well, it's stuff. If you've been paying attention, very close attention, it's some of the same stuff. But for most of you, it's going to be the vast majority of you. It's going to be new stuff that you've never heard of before for direct SEO signals. And these are direct SEO signals I'm going to talk about. So I'm going to go back all the way back to December because I took a bit of a hiatus there over the holidays. So here we go. So on numerous occasions now, so if there is any doubt, on the 21st of December, on the 28th of December, and on the 13th of January, I have the time codes for each. On the 21st of December, it's 5 and 11 seconds in. On the 28th of December, it's 26 minutes in. These are both Hangout A. And on the 13th of January, it's 43 minutes in. That's Hangout A as well. There's only one Hangout that day. John Mueller has mentioned specifically, point blank, that yes, social signals are used in ranking directly as a direct signal. What social platforms? He will not say. But the main ones would be a good bet. The ones that are public, he did say the ones that are public and they can get access to. So that disincludes Facebook. But when asked specifically about Facebook, he did say if the likes or anything that is posted on their page that's publicly posted, we can use, quote unquote. So vis-a-vis, if you're publishing your likes on your page and you have likes, they can use that as a signal. And I suspect, based on what they've said, I think that they do. So there's two ways that social can help you rank. One is specifically in votes. They have specific algorithms to track what constitutes a social vote in that system. They already have algorithms for Twitter. We know this. And so they're tracking votes in that system to see what people in that system think is or recommending as good content. And then indirectly is traffic, right? The more traffic you get, traffic itself is a ranking signal. If you get bursts of traffic, if you continue to get traffic from returning visitors, whatnot, this is a ranking signal as well that your site is of a higher quality. Especially if that traffic likes your site. Especially if that traffic has good user metrics, right? They stay there for a long time, they keep coming back, they view a couple pages. That tells Google that your site is a quality site. So, they've mentioned numerous times now that social signals are used in ranking. So I would get ahead of this before everyone else does. Get the social buttons on your site. You wouldn't believe what people will click. If you have social buttons on your site, you just might get some clicks on it, right? And look into investing into some social channels. If it's possible, if you can hire people to do this for you, you know people who can do this for you, it doesn't take long. If you want some good ideas of how to get into social, it's actually very simple to do. It just takes 5 or 10 minutes a day, and you can build up a decent social following on some of the major networks. Email me, and I will tell you how to do this. It's actually fairly simple once you know how to do it. So again, my email address is joshbashinsky@gmail.com, or you can follow me at Twitter, Josh Bashinsky. And by the way, these videos are on YouTube at /jbashins. So you can watch this video, and I've done about a couple dozen other ones describing all the Google leaks, all the SEO leaks and experiments in knowledge that I have. So the next thing I want to mention, this is again still going back to December, stuff that they leaked in December, I just hadn't had a chance to tell you yet. Titles. SEO has changed, and titles, in terms of the title tag, in terms of the Google snippet, these aren't your mama's titles. They've really changed things around. So titles used to be a major ranking signal. Now Google has said they're less of a ranking signal. They still are, but they're less of a ranking signal and more of a usage signal. So the most important thing here to remember is the click-through rate. For example, I just did an experiment. I had a site that was ranking extremely well, better than I expected, given that it had way less links than everybody else that it was outranking. And so I looked at it, and I found out of the 42 search queries it was ranked on page 1 for, out of 36 of them, it had 100% click-through rate. So let me get my calculator here. 36 divided by 42 equals 86%. 86% of its page 1 rankings, it had 100% click-through rate. So that means if 20 people searched for buy red apples, all 20 of them clicked on that site. Now, that is an amazing statistic. It's entirely true. I can send you the report, or at least I can send you a report. You have to believe me that it's true. I can't give you access to the Google Analytics for this site, but I have no benefit in. I don't sell a usage metric generator, so you know I don't have any vested interest in lying to you about this. No word of a lie, 86% of the search queries it ranks on page 1 for had 100% click-through rate. And again, that means that if 20 people searched for buy red apples, all 20 people out of that month clicked on this site. Now, 1, that is unheard of. Almost no site has that high level of click-through rate. 2, that could be a very good reason why it's outranking all the other sites that have more links than it. So it's very important to make sure you have a good click-through rate, and that's part of what I mean when I'm talking about. Usage metrics, right? So these are the 3 things that Google said you want to watch out for titles. 1, you want to make sure the title is not misleading. 2, you want to make sure it's jammed full of extra keywords. That would be bad for 2 reasons. 1, through the usage metrics, but also because they have spam algorithms to detect when you've spammed up the titles, and that they're misleading, right? It says it's about topic XYZ, but the page is actually about ABC. So they've admitted there that they actually have algorithms to detect that, and I think Panda is probably a prime candidate for that, because that'd be a low-quality issue, right? Finally, they want it to be a good description of what the people can expect to find. So it's getting to the point where marketing and branding signals, like having a good billboard, having a good snippet, are direct SEO signals these days. Not just indirect in that you're not going to get as many links because people don't like your site, but they're starting to become direct SEO signals. And making sure you have chosen a domain name that answers the problem or solves the problem or answers the query for those people, and making sure you have a title and a meta description that solves the problem or entices these people to click it. It sounds interesting, it sounds a little bit different. Be fully confident to differentiate yourself. Be ready and willing to differentiate yourself there to make sure that you're providing something different and better and interesting from what everyone else is doing, because it will factor into the click-through rate. And then, of course, the most important thing that I'll directly segue to is the next thing that Google talks about is quality. I cannot count the number of times in the last month that Google has mentioned make sure your site is a high-quality site that in terms of usage metrics, right? They're getting fairly specific, and not just the same old boilerplate rhetoric of theirs, that you have to have good usage metrics, right? Returning visitors matter, time on page matters, those kind of things matter. And so, of course, when they click through to your site, they have to like what they find, right? Just like when the person walking by your brick and mortar store likes the sign on or the sale you're advertising on your billboard, when they come in, they have to like your store as well. So, a couple of things to note here then. So, what if you have a very salesy page? A salesy page could be a page with a lot of advertisements on it. A salesy page can be a page that just has an order form on it with a big arrow, sign up here, or the things like that. This is not necessarily a problem as long as your usage metrics remain consistent and remain good. If the user has to scroll to find what they want, this is bad. And Google has said point blank that they will, if you have a salesy page, they will serve some other page if it better solves the option. They don't care if the user searched for your brand name. This is basically what they said. They don't care if the user searched for your brand name. They don't care if you think that that's what the most relevant search is. They're going completely and utterly based on what the populace, the unwashed masses want, right? And so if you're in a market where you have a lot of looky-loos, you have a lot of people very high up in the sales funnel who are just doing info queries, they're not really sure about this, what's going on in this niche, they just want to find information. This can be a problem, right, if you're not retaining those people on your site. So you have to attract them by your snippet and the click-through rate, then you have to keep them on your site. So the more sales that you make it, the more annoying you make it, the more they have to scroll, the worse that they're going to like it, and so they're not going to convert, and you're also not going to rank well, so you're going to get less people to the site because Google is tracking this because their main priority, their main concern is making sure they only serve pages that people like. Here's another thing. You know, you'd say, well, how do I know, Josh, if I have a high-quality site or not? Well, that's a big thing to deal with and a big thing to check to see if that's the case. But one indication that that could be the case is that whether or not your site is bouncing or doing the Google dance. If your site is fluctuating every week or even every day between page 1 and page 2 or page 1 and page 3, this is called the Google dance. And someone asked John Mueller recently, John Mueller is a Google employee who I stalk essentially online and listen to everything he says, and where I'm getting the majority of this information, filtered through my own experience, 12 years experience in SEO and my own experiments and kind of reading between the lines of what he's saying. The site that is doing the Google dance, he said, and I quote, is on the edge of quality, right? So that means it's just on the cusp of either related to all the other pages quality or some objective metric they use. We're not sure. They won't answer that question I've asked, but I think it's probably relative on some things and objective on some others. Like the page layout algorithm is objective, right? But the usage metrics algorithms, whatever they are, Panda or something else, is running on a daily basis, because it seems like it's running on a daily basis, seems to do this relative to all the sites in your niche. So if all the other sites in your niche suck, then you can suck too. But if all the other sites in your niche are starting to improve on their quality, they're getting a better design, they're retaining their users, they're making them interested to come back, this is going to be a problem for you. They're going to start outranking you, right? Even if they have less links. So if you've been doing the Google dance, you've been bouncing, you've been suffering exactly what I'm talking about here. What you need to do is vastly improve the quality. And John Mueller said he doesn't mean just a small change. He means you need to be head and shoulders above the quality of everyone else. That clearly you are the best site in that niche to answer that query, to answer all the queries related to that topic, and that users demand to see your site there. Okay. So that was all the stuff from December. Now going to January. This is what they've said recently in January 2013. So this is relevant stuff. Oh, I forgot one thing from December. All the way back from December and also in January as well, they've admitted. Also, another reason why you notice a lot of sites are decreasing in ranking, and people might be wondering why. Remember, they're still collecting data from that disavow tool. And everyone asks, well, are we sure we're going to use they're going to use the disavow tool to take sites in the disavow tool and mass no follow any outlinks, right? So if you have a site that's listed in the disavow tool and has a bunch of links coming out of it, what they do is if it's in too many disavow files, what they're going to do, or what people speculate they're going to do, is mass no follow all those links. They're going to cut off any page rank from those links. They're not necessarily going to put the site on a spam list, although they admitted they might do that too. But what they're going to do is they're going to ignore any of the page rank coming out of that link because it's all suspect. Because 80% of the people getting out links from them say, hey, I disavow this link. So they're going to go, oh, okay, we're going to mass no follow all those. Will they do that? Yes. Yes, they will. They've already admitted they will. Back in December, John Mueller strongly implied that will be the case. That would be a good use, hypothetically speaking, for this tool. And in January, he just recently, the Hangout that was just yesterday. So today is the 22nd. Just yesterday's Hangout, the 21st. I can't remember if it was A or B. I can find it for you. He mentioned that, yeah, that's what they're gonna. Part of the thing they're going to use the disavow tool. So keep in mind that could be some of the reason why you see some sites are decreasing in ranking as well, because their sites are getting their backlinks are getting mass disavowed, even if they didn't disavow them. If someone else disavowed them and they have a bunch of public sites that were giving out outlinks before, those are all being disavowed. Okay, now to January. So keep in mind, so the question is, another perfect segue, the question is, well, Josh, how do I find these bad links that might be linking to me to see if I have any problems with these links that I might need to disavow or I might need to worry that other people are ratting me out and disavowing these links for me. Thanks very much. And the answer is, well, you can still use Google Webmaster Tools. Google is, in one hand, your best friend, and on the other hand, your worst enemy. So this is one hand that they're your best friend, right? They bring you all the traffic, but then they take it away. Now, this is one instance where they are your best friend. The Webmaster Tool links, John Mueller has admitted that they do seed it with good links and bad links, and follow links and no follow links, because they want to give a widespread, and they realize they're technicians at heart, they're engineers at heart. They know that they can't get you to fix a problem if they don't give you the tools to do so. So this is a tool they're giving you to do so, to fix the problem, and there are some bad links in there. So what I would do if you're wondering about your links is I would look through it, and I would try and identify what links are the good ones and what links are the bad ones. This might give you some indication of what links you should be wondering about, whether or not they're good or bad, whether you should be disavowing them or not. So that's a good tip there. Webmaster Tools is a free tool. All you have to do is install it. You don't have to worry about them mining your data any more than they already do. They're not going to track your site. I have hundreds of sites in my Webmaster Tools, some of which have penalties, some of which do not, some of which are mine, some of which are not. So they don't trust me. I'm still ranking sites. They don't see that I have a bunch of spammy sites and then derank all the rest of mine. That's nothing they've done so far, and it'd probably be a pretty big breach of their user terms of service. And quite frankly, it would be a huge scandal. And quite frankly, the way I understand Google works is that it's very segmented. The Google Analytics is essentially a separate company. The Google Webmaster Tools is a separate company. AdWords is essentially a separate company, and they don't really talk very much. So I don't think that's going to be a problem. And if the other problem is you're not really sure how to identify these bad links, again, email me. I have a report I can run. I can show you exactly what links are the bad links and exactly what links are the good links. If you're curious or you want to use that for a disavow or to try and clean up your links or to try and clean up any penalties. So again, email me at joshbashinsky@gmail.com, or my Twitter is joshbashinsky. Okay, rich snippets. For those of you who are using rich snippets, this little nugget of information I found very interesting. There is no rich snippet penalty. Point blank. John Mueller was asked, is there a rich snippet penalty? He said no. There's no such thing as a rich snippet penalty. So if you're trying to spam the snippets, if you've got some fake author profiles, you've got some fake ratings, there's no penalty for a rich snippet. So spam that away. Go right ahead. Make some fake reviews, some fake Google author snippets, and attach them to some profiles, because quite frankly, they do increase click-through rate. So by all means, there's no penalty, so do it. As Thomas Hobbes once said, where there is no sword, there is no justice. And so here there is no sword, and so there is no justice here. But John Mueller did say, if they find that you're using it incorrectly, and I'm not making this up, he did say this, if they find you're using it incorrectly, it will be permanently removed. That snippet ability for your site will be permanently removed. No joke, that's what he says. And if you want to get it back, you have to contact the rich snippet team to get it back. You have to fix the problem. If your snippets are being used incorrectly, you have to fix the problem, and they won't just bring it back. Apparently, he claims you have to contact the rich snippet team to get it back. I have no idea who that is or how you would even contact them. I could probably find out if you really want me to, but that's what John Mueller says. And so he said this with authority. This was not one of his waffling statements that you think, well, maybe it's not true. No, he said this with authority. So I tend to believe it. So if you're using rich snippets and you use them incorrectly, whatever that means, whatever that euphemism means, to get them back, apparently, if that's the reason why they were gone, they might just have stopped showing them for other reasons. But if you're using them incorrectly, if you made some mistake or you didn't have them right, and or you were spamming them and they took it down, to get them back, you have to fix the problem and you have to contact them and say, oops, sorry, I made some mistake, here you go, and to get it back. So this is what Google says. 2 more points. The next point is duplicate content a problem? People keep asking, is duplicate content a problem or is it not? Here's the answer, and I've said this before, but Google brought it up recently, and so very, very forcefully, and so I'll mention it again. There's 2 kinds of duplicate content. There's technical dupe content and malicious dupe content. These are John Mueller's terminology, not mine. Technical dupe content is dupe content like on your WordPress site, where they will have copies of archives of articles and whatnot. And technical dupe content is all on the site. It's all on a single site. And they ignore all that. That is not a problem at all. The only problem is that they're gonna choose what page they are going to rank. Otherwise, technical dupe content is not an issue. You can solve that with a rel canonical, saying, no, I want you to rank these pages, not your choice, but my choice, by using the rel canonical. You can no-index the dupes. You can delete them. But technical dupe content happens all the time, and as such, they've made allowances for this. It's not an issue. If you have 30,000 duplicate pages, it becomes a crawling issue. It becomes an SEO issue in the sense that they can only crawl at maximum on any site about 100,000 pages a day. So if you have more than that, or if you're approaching that, that's going to limit their ability to crawl your actual pages you want to rank, and they're going to trust your site less because it's crawled less, possibly, but at the very least, they're not going to get to your updated content, and they're not going to make changes in your site like deleting links or adding links or whatnot any faster, right? So that can be an issue. Where duplicate content really becomes an issue is what he called malicious dupe content. Malicious dupe content is cross-domain dupe content. So this domain has a duplicate content from this domain. That is the issue, and that is what you do not want them to see on your site, because Google is not very good, as we know, of determining who owns the content, right? Sure, it's posted on your site first, but it doesn't matter. The question is, do you always post on that topic? Do you post regularly? Is it in your sitemap? Have you ever lied on your sitemap? You need all these things, right? If you don't have all those things, then the scraper who's scraping your content, who does have all those things and has a higher page rank, right, has more authority, they're going to start trusting the scraper site and not yours. So, or they're going to start thinking you're a scraper site, right? So, you do not want malicious content. This is cross-domain dupe content. They've said this is definitely a low-quality signal. Whether or not you copied it or not, they don't care, right? And they can't often tell. This is definitely a low-quality signal, and you definitely want to be able to clean that up if you can. Last but not least, the other little thing they mentioned is this. Do you know what the hero image is? A hero image is when you have a giant image on the index page or at the top of any given page. Now, the question is this an issue? Does the page layout algorithm have a problem with this? And the answer is, this is similar to the sales question answer, if your page is too salesy. The answer is, it's not necessarily an issue, but you have to check your usage metrics. This is another instance where they've mentioned again and again, I'm telling you, they've mentioned all the time that this is the main SEO tactic, the main SEO hurdle, the main SEO phenomenon that you have to deal with in 2013. 2011 was Panda, garbage and text and content, and low quality in terms of the layout and whatnot, dupe content. 2012 was links and Penguin, over optimization through the links on page and also on your backlink pages through links. 2013 is usage metrics, right? Quality of your site as determined by usage metrics, the click-through rate, and then the time on page and whatnot, and whether or not they go back to the SERP and click another result. If they do that, it's death for your site, because that tells Google that you were not up to the task of solving the problem that particular searcher had for when they typed in buy red apples. And if they go to some other site and like that site more, if that happens too much with too many people, that site's going to start outranking you and you're going to start to go down. I guarantee it. Okay, so is the hero image a problem? No, as long as your users like it. If users like it, they like the whole gestalt, they like the whole design, they like the whole brand, and they don't mind that they have to scroll down a bit to get what it is they want, then it's not a problem. So Whoa, somehow it crashed and came back. So I don't know how much of that last thing you caught, but if you have any questions at all, if you have any SEO questions at all, you want to find out how to find these bad links, you want to find out what a good or bad design is, all you have to do is email me at joshbashinsky@gmail.com or follow me on Twitter, Josh Bashinsky. And, oh yes, and you can watch these videos. I have tons of videos about SEO, Panda, Penguin, all my analysis, and all the Google leaks that have been leaking out in my interpretation at jbashins on YouTube. So /jbashins. That's JBACHYNS. Just search that and YouTube comes up first. Okay, so thanks very much. And if you have any specific questions you want me to answer on air, all you have to do is either message me on Google Plus, where this hangout occurs, or send me an email, and I'd be happy to answer them on air. And there you go. So good luck in the SERPs, and I'll see you next week.